Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. When I got to page 174, I couldn't help but smile when I saw one of my favorite quotes by Mark Twain. I've had thousands of problems in my life, most of which never actually happened. And it reminded me of the lessons I learned on fearlessness from the 50th law. We, the people, live in a state of generalized anxiety, most of our worries circulating around money and the lack or loss thereof, when our fears oftentimes are merely just illusions. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind has some significant similarities with Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but Eker takes it one step further when it comes to psychology. He suggests that our mindsets on personal finance come from the following three sources. Verbal programming. The words we associate with the rich, accumulating wealth, receiving paychecks, the government, celebrities, and the like. Phrases like, money is the root of all evil, that tend to stick with us and form our opinion on the matter. Modeling. The way we observe others and learn from them, specifically when we model someone we look up to like our parents and see how they handle money, which often is not the ideal way. And specific incidents. Events that have an impact on us, both negative and positive. Occurrences that could traumatize us, like having to move out of a small city apartment because our family cannot pay the rent, suffering hunger and thirst because we cannot afford to put food on the table. Just like Kiyosaki, Eker states that most of our beliefs and thoughts on money stem from our parents, peers, and other influencers with authority, along with any situation where we might observe greed and unfairness surrounding the exchange of money, goods, and services. Incidents that leave a bad taste when we think about money. All of these factors form a story for us that we inevitably start believing in while we're still young, many of us not ever changing our views until we die. Because what do children do? They look for external sources of information on how the world works, of which a big part is the idea of valuable papers, money. They're infinitely curious until the environment we live in dulls that sense of wonder and eliminates yet another potential thought leader who could have changed the world one day. Instead of becoming another Elon Musk, that child is more likely to grow up to be a failure on the subject of personal finances and thus likely to be a failure in all other areas of life as well, believing they already know everything and that what they know is the only right answer. Probably the saddest part about that is that they will force their views on their children when they reproduce, thinking I already know everything. Instead of consistently learning and embracing new ideas with deep humility is one of 17 beliefs that separate the poor and the middle class from the rich. You have successfully developed a millionaire mind when you believe you're in control instead of at the effect. You focus on making money instead of not losing it. You commit to being rich, not wanting to be rich. You think big instead of limiting yourself. You focus on solutions and opportunities instead of problems and obstacles. You admire successful people instead of envying them. You associate with the ambitious instead of losers. You promote yourself instead of shying away from it. You can solve any problem. You're not smaller than your problems. And you receive well. You choose to get paid for results instead of time. You consider all options instead of trying only one. You focus on your net worth, not your salary. You manage your money well. You have money work for you, not the other way around. You face your fears instead of succumbing to them. And you constantly develop instead of stalling. In closing, successful people discard limiting beliefs while the unsuccessful let and keep themselves down. A limiting belief might sound like this. The rich are greedy, selfish, like to boast and show off. Or, the rich want to keep us down. That's the only way they can continue to make their money. That sounds a lot like what my parents have told me when I was young, and so I used to think I will always be poor, like a farmer born in the Middle Ages. That was just going to be my reality. I wasn't adopted by Angelina Jolie, and so I would have to be miserable for my whole life. Although I just tried to be funny there, this is actually a topic close to my heart. Why couldn't I possibly make a living doing something I love? Why is trying to pay your bills by contributing, self-promoting, and bringing value to other people's lives seen as something so sinister? Do people not understand you're working hard with positive intentions and that you want the best for them? And so all they do is attack you from their couch where they do nothing but try to spread their misery over the internet? It only stems from a poor mindset, a loser mentality. Those are people who will never get anywhere if they don't change their views. Please choose to work on yourself rather than thinking you've got it all figured out. There is no such thing as having it all figured out. Start taking control of your life and measure how successful you are by how much you're enjoying yourself, how happy you and your loved ones are. It's not about living long, it's about living well. It's not about being wealthy, it's about enjoying wealth. You don't need $1 million in order to live like a millionaire. You need a millionaire mind that will allow you to live a life truly worth living. As always, thanks for watching and subscribe for more content of this kind coming up shortly on Illustratus. This one specifically has been animated by Alex and Dallas. Please be sure to leave a quick feedback and check his channel out. The link is in the description. Talk to you soon.